All right, so we're looking at graphing systems of equations. Now, the video on Math Nation goes into a lot of details on specifically what systems of equations are. In this video, we're just looking at how to solve systems with graphing. So we're given two equations up here. We'll graph both of them. First equation I'm given is x equals -4. Now remember, whenever it's x equals just a number, I want to have a vertical line at that x value. So I'm looking at my x-axis, I'm finding -4, there it is. And the only way I can stay at -4 is if I draw a vertical line. Next, I'm going to this equation. This is in slope-intercept form. So the first thing we're going to look at is the y-intercept. So I'm going to find -1 on the y-axis. There it is. I'm going to put a dot. From that dot, I'm going to do my slope. Now my slope is positive, so that means I'm going to go up one, and then I'm going to go over 2 units, 1, 2. And so there is going to be my next point. Put a point right there. And I could keep doing that over and over again. I could keep going up 1, over 2. I could do the opposite. So instead of going up and right, I can go down and left. Keeps me on that same line. Draw my line. And ultimately, what we're looking for is, where do my lines intersect? Well, I see right there. There's the point where my lines intersect at. So that's at an x value of -4, a y value of -3. So my answer is -4, -3. At this point, I probably should have addressed, I wrote it up here. These problems are not on your paper. They're example problems. So if you're trying to figure out where this is in your paper, it's not. I got 4 problems I'm going to do. 2 that are like your first group, 2 that are like your second group, and then you'll do the ones on your paper. All right, number 2. Number 2, these are both in slope-intercept form. Let's try this one. Oh, going back to number 1. This coordinate point right here is your answer. So this means we had one solution, and that is your one solution answer. All right, number 2, we're going to start at +3 on the y-axis. There it is. Now my slope says -2, and generally we want my slope to be a fraction. So if my slope is -2, I can write it as -2 over 1. So I'm going to go down 2 over 1, put a point. Notice that even though I went down, I still went to the right. All right, I'm always going to go to the right. As far as when I'm looking at my sign, if I'm going down or going up if it's positive, it's only when I do the opposite that I go to the left. So I went down, right, down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. Now, if I want to do the opposite of negative would be positive. That would be going up. I could go up 2. That's when I would go to the left. So I could go up 2, left 1. And notice that still keeps me on that same line. And as I draw my line from left to right, my line is going down, which is a negative slope. Let's look at the next one. This one has a y-intercept of -3. So the y-axis, there's -3. And, well, let's look at the slope. The slope is 4. So bring that over here. Just think that's going to be 4 over 1. So from this point right here, it's positive. So I can go up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. It's going to put me right there. Now, I can go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, one more time. There we go. And there's my points I can use. Notice I couldn't do the opposite. If I tried to go down 4, it prints me off my graph. And so I had to go 1, 2, 3, somewhere over there, I guess. But ultimately, all I'm trying to find is where those points intersect. Well, here they intersect right there. And that's an x value of 1, y value of 1. So my answer is 1, comma. So everything in the first group are all slope-intercept problems. Okay, slope-intercept problems. That's how we're going to solve them, is just graphing them by hand, seeing where they intersect. But for number 3, we get to standard form. If you remember when I had taught you how to graph lines, I did teach you how to do these by hand. You can get y by itself and then do it like we did the first ones. But we also talked about how to use Desmos to graph these. So on the back, on the standard form ones, I'm going to show you how to use Desmos to solve system of equations by graphing. You will have Desmos on your test. You'll be able to use this on your test. So let's say equals -4. There we go. Come down here. X minus y equals -3. Now, the great thing about using Desmos to solve these is you don't have to graph. I'm perfectly okay with you just graphing on Desmos and writing down your answer if you're using Desmos, okay? So ultimately, they give me 3 gray dots. They give me a gray dot where those lines cross. So I'm going to click on that gray dot. And there we go. There is my solution. My solution is -1, comma 2. Done. Just like that. Try one more just to show how we typed in. Bring in Desmos. X. X. Type in 2x plus y equals 1. Come down here. 2x plus y equals 2. Lines, I see those lines are parallel. Those lines are not going to intersect. Whenever I have parallel lines, my answer is always going to be no solution. Okay, parallel lines means no solution. So in your video on Math Nation, Shit talks about your 3 types of solutions: one solution, no solution, and many solutions. So if you have 2 lines parallel to each other, that's an example of no solution. All right, hopefully that helps you be able to accomplish that paper, which you're going to leave in the top tray and have a daily quiz on